In late 1944, the Finns make a treaty with the Soviet Union that aggression between them will cease if they will remove their former German allies from Finland. This conflict is known as the Lapland War, and the German forces retaliate against the Finns. Retired commando and prospector Atami Korpi lives alone with only his horse and his faithful dog in the remote wilderness of Lapland. Atami spends his days panning and mining in search of gold. He sees battles taking place in the distance, but takes little interest in them. After uncovering a rich gold deposit, he collects a hefty amount of nuggets and mounts his horse, heading for the nearest town with his dog in tow. Along the way, Atami encounters a 30-man Wehrmacht platoon led by ruthless SS Obersturmführer Bruno Helldorf and his subordinate Wolf, who are destroying settlements in their retreat and have taken several Finnish women captive. Helldorf takes little interest in Atami, letting him pass. Atami is soon accosted by a second group of soldiers who discover his saddlebags full of gold and prepare to execute him and his dog, but he swiftly kills them all. Alerted by the gunfire, Bruno investigates and discovers the carnage. He finds one of Atami's gold nuggets, taken by one of the dying soldiers. Bruno and his tank pursue Atami to the edge of a minefield, where Atami's horse is killed by a landmine. Gathering up his gold, Atami intentionally detonates another mine to make his escape. The soldiers sent after him are quickly claimed by the minefield. Two of the captive women are ordered ahead to ensure a clear path. One of the captives, Aino, volunteers to take the place of one of the women and leads the way. Retrieving Atami's dog Tag, Bruno learns that he was once a Finnish commando who lost his family and home fighting against the Red Army during the Winter War. Left with nothing, the vengeful Atami became a legendary one-man death squad nicknamed Kashii, the Immortal, who has killed hundreds of communist troops. Bruno ignores the warning, defying orders to turn around and cease following Atami. Wounded and exhausted, Atami is awakened by the platoon's approach. With the soldiers' dogs on his trail, he hangs underneath one of the German vehicles and punctures the fuel tank, dousing himself in gasoline to hide his scent. When the platoon halts to inspect the leak, Atami flees, holding the dogs at bay by lighting himself on fire before diving into a nearby lake. Waiting for him to surface, Bruno sends soldiers into the lake, but Atami slits their throats underwater and breathes in the escaping air from their necks. Atami reaches the other side of the lake, but Bruno finds his dog. Atami discovers the town has been left in burning ruins by the Germans, and takes shelter in a petrol station. Bruno sends Atami's dog to find his master, with a lit dynamite stick attached to his collar. Atami saves the dog but is subdued by the explosion. Bruno, Wolf, and tank driver Schutze hang Atami from the petrol station sign, taking the gold and leaving him for dead, but Atami hooks his wounds onto protruding rebar, saving him from the noose but rendering him unconscious and still hanging from the rope. A pair of German pilots land in search of fuel and the wind from the plane loosens the petrol station sign and causes Atami to fall to the ground. The engineer in the plane notices Atami is alive and the pilot orders him to kill Atami and the dog. Atami manages to kill the engineer and knocks the pilot unconscious. Unwilling to face the consequences of Germany's impending defeat, Bruno intends to use the gold to escape with Wolf and Schutze, arranging for a pilot to fly them to safety while the rest of the platoon makes their way to Norway. Meanwhile, Atami forces the surviving pilot to fly him towards the platoon. Soon, the soldiers discover the airplane crashed in their path, with the pilot hanged by the same noose Wolf used on Atami. As the convoy continues, Atami climbs onto the truck holding the captured women, kills their guards, and arms the women. He and Aino commandeer one of the trucks, allowing him to leap onto Bruno's tank while the women gun down the rest of the soldiers in the other truck. Pulling Wolf out of the tank and beating him badly, Atami leaves him at the mercy of the women and follows Bruno, who callously kills Shutsa before taking off with the pilot. Atami fires on the plane, mortally wounding the pilot, and uses his pickaxe to hack his way on board in midair. After engaging in hand-to-hand combat, Bruno beats Atami with a static line, subduing him. As Bruno is about to hit him again, Atami swiftly hooks the static line to a bomb and releases the bomb through the bomb bay door, dropping Bruno to his death. Finding the pilot also dead, Atami straps himself in as the plane crashes into a large swamp. Led by Aino, the women deliver Wolf and the German tank to an incredulous Finnish unit. Remarkably still alive, Atami crawls out of the swamp, reunites with his dog, and makes his way to war-ravaged Helsinki. Bloody and battered, Atami enters a bank where he dumps his gold nuggets on the counter. The other customers are smartly dressed and look at him in wonderment. He finally speaks for the first time in the movie, asking the teller to exchange them for large bank notes, explaining they will not be as heavy to carry as the nuggets have been.
Teleitä. Isoja. Kiitos.